Hey guys, this is Kara and we are back. So like I said, I'm going to explain what each of the careers do now. I'm going to start with the Explorer. Very easy. The Explorer, what they do is when you go to their page, I'm actually going to show you with one of mine, since I have one. You can click on the user, character, or the villager, sorry. This is from Animal Husbandry. It's something else entirely. As you can see, she's sick with vertigo. That's going to make a difference. So I'm at her page, or their page, and I have a certain amount of explorations. So I have 4 explorations left right now. I have 1 minute apparently. So I'll just show you. If you click on the explore button, it'll give you this. Now you can find different items, you can get money, and you can find items. Every time I've done it, I've always gotten an item. I don't always get money though. So that's all of the explorers I have right now, but it's going to reset shortly. Now the difference is, I'll show you when it resets. I'll show you my other villager, who I believe is not sick. It's really easy for characters to get sick, unfortunately, I find. Oh, he's sick too. Okay, so remember what I was saying about the warrior has to fight because if not you lose certain percent? Well, you also get that from sickness. So sickness means number of explorations per hour is halved. So the number you see, 10, is only half of what they can usually do. They can usually do 20. So they're both sick right now, so they can both only do 10. Just do these. Now, you're going to find different items, but there are some items you can only get from fighting, so from having the warrior. So like I've got marble slab. Slab is really important for the construction. I'm not sure what the mushrooms are doing yet. Steel is good for your blacksmith. Feather and hide is for crafting. It's for the tailor. Trying to see if anything... I'm waiting for some of the other ones to come up. Come on. Stardust! This is a crafting item. This is used by the crafter directly to make things like the fairy wings. Dragon's Tooth, also a crafting item. There we go! Seeds! Now, you can only get seeds by exploring or buying them. So if you want to get seeds for your herbalist, it's very important that you have an explorer. Each stone has different seeds. Mine are all flying. They'll all say flying something. Flying squiggles, flying daffodils. But each one is different. Dragon's Maw gets things like the Angry Seed, and Ocean Stone gets things like the Coral Fur Seed. Now, it'll always tell you how many explorations you have left right next to the Explore Again button. So I have none left, so I'm done. That's all finished. Nothing special there. Once you click away from whatever you're doing, no matter what type of career you're doing, the page will refresh for you. It'll give you an update on what you're doing. You have an hourly cap of how many explorations you can do. Now, they've already explored their full for the hour, but if you have other explorers, you can use them to get to the full 50. So I only have 30 left, but I don't have any other explorers, so I can only do 20 an hour. Now your stats will tell you how many times this character is explored and how many items they've found when doing it. And you can view the log to see what they found while doing it. So this is just little things I found. The amount of fur cache, the items I found, how long ago it was. I mean, I can go back pretty far if I want to. Like I said, there are certain rare items you'll find. I found something earlier, but for the most part, these are the things you'll find. You'll find slabs, seeds, steel, and items for crafting. So that will take us into our second career, and that would be the doctor. And the doctors are very important. Like I said, if you don't have a doctor, you can't build the medicine. You'll have to buy them. This kind of sucks. So if you have... While your villagers are really sick, like mine are currently, and I'm trying to build up with my doctor. I'm just going to do this to save a bit of time. if I don't have those possibility of the doctor to build medicines, then I'm spending a lot of money to constantly buy medicines. And people are not selling them cheap. So, as you can see, they are not sick. They're a lizard, unlike my other one, which was a bat. Kimmy is the black bear. So as a villager with a doctor career, Rock can create medicines for the villagers of the Cazelia Palace to heal their illness. So I already finished one, which is the high sedation recipe, which is something my villager Kara is currently suffering from. This is very important. You automatically succeed at this, but there is only a percentile. So it's only a certain percent good. So this one will be 10% good because I've done it twice. And I'll show you an example of what I mean by that. This is how many medicines you've made, how many you know, how many you've mastered, and how much time you spent crafting. And you can also view the log to see how and when you did that. But every time you make it, you get more successful at making it. So if I want a height sedation potion right now, if I have all the items I need for it, which I don't think I do, there we go. You need a capsule, and you need plants. And it'll tell you the amount of time. If you are stuck in a sickness, which will double the time, or if you're under attack, which will double the time, it'll tell you that it's instead of 30, it's an hour or 2 hours. And it will tell you what the potency it is. So if I make this right now, it'll be a 15% chance this will succeed. Last time I only had a 10% chance. Whereas I've made this 4 times, so if I have all the items to make this one, which I do, I will have a 25% potency because I've made it 4 times. So I just click on craft, and it'll tell me how long I have and what I'm making. The page will again refresh. Now explorers only give you the number of times they're going, but because this is time-based, this will give you the amount of time. So you can build any of these. This is just the basics for the Cazelia Palace, because these are things that you suffer from only in Cazelia Palace. So I come back in 30 minutes, I'd have a potion to work on one of my villagers who is suffering from metal allergy. So. Next will be animal husbandry, which is what Kimmy does. So, what you suffer from when you're sick with an illness or under attack, when you have animal husbandry, is the time it takes to do it is lessened. Now, you already only have a percentile chance to do something when it comes to animal husbandry. You're not guaranteed. I'm not guaranteed I'll be able to domesticate them when I click on them, and this is, it'll usually say domesticate animal, use breeding potion, or transfer animal. Or, if I click on one of these, I have the chance to go, so I can go collect a pet. So right now I'm trying to collect one, so that's why this slot is currently working, and Kimmy is currently doing something. So you can also import, and you can transfer to other people. And if you get more items from your constructionist, you can put another stable here. So when they're sick, they take twice the time. So instead of taking usually 30 minutes, it's actually taking Kimmy an hour to go see if they can find something. Now, this should take us to the warrior, I believe. Now, the warrior, I unfortunately don't have a warrior right now. But basically what a warrior does is, when you go to the warrior's page, you set them up with equipment, then you click begin fight, and it'll bring up a monster. Now, sometimes, especially right now, there'll be things way stronger than you. You can run. It's okay to run. There's nothing wrong with running. I know I've done it a fair amount of times when I did have a warrior. Don't feel bad about it. It's going to be normal because at the start there's going to be things that are much stronger. You're going to run into random, because they're completely random, the fights, completely random. It's not based on your level or your amount of experience. So there, you might run into something that's has 60 health and 10 damage, and you have 10 health. You're not going to make it through that. So, it's okay to run from a fight, or you might end up fighting something like, in this area, I don't remember what I fought, but you're going to fight something that'll be lower. It'll have like 7 health and 2 hit. So that you want to fight, because you'll probably come up with that just fine. But it's okay to run if you notice that you're dying. It is considered as a loss instead of a win if you run, but it's better to just run. And every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes that you're out of battle, you gain 2 health back. you have what's called 5 charges around. Charges are the amount of times you can get in a battle. So if you got into a battle and then you ran, that's one of your charges. If you got in a battle, you fought, that's another charge. So you're down to 3 charges, but you're down to 2 health, so you need to wait for a couple minutes to recover your health. That's fine, so you do that. By then, one of your charges might have recovered because they recover every couple of minutes. It's not based on every hour, it's based on a certain amount of time. So if your fights are going really fast, you'll run out of charges, but if they're going really slow, you might not run out. Then we have construction. I unfortunately just changed my construction, but when you get to your construction page, it'll tell you the amount of slabs you have and the success you'll have at it, the durability. So right now, one of my gentlemen, if I change him back to a construction gentleman, is 75 durability. So the item will have 75 durability, which means I can use it 75 times, or it can take 75 uses. You can sell the items you build in construction. Right now, this may change in future, but right now the only 3 items you can build are houses, stables, and pots. Pots are used by the herbalist, stables are used by the animal husbandry, the houses are to add villagers. You can sell all those items for other people to use. Then we have a crafter. Crafter, I personally don't see as useful right now because it's not something I want to do, but let's say I went to the crafter right now and I had bought the recipes, then I could build fairy wings, or I could build the galaxy orb. So you use the recipes to build things with the crafter. Tailor, I have not actually looked into yet, but as far as from what I understand, it's similar to the crafter, but you're actually building items for your character to wear. You are building like the costumes, like the fairy costume and the pirate costume that I was showing you in the costume museum. We have a blacksmith. Blacksmiths are really, really difficult. They're something that you don't want to invest in unless you've already built up a lot of steel and built up a lot of items, because you have to buy the recipes for the weapons in the first place and the shields, and then you have to have all that gear. So I think one of the recipes was like 100 of this super rare item. I'm not sure. The herbalist, on the other hand, I do have. So I'm going to go check out Hector. So he's a bearded vulture, and he is perfectly fine, not sick at all. So as a villager with a herbalist career, Hector can grow exotic plants for the doctors and alchemists, which is very important because this is the only place you can get plants unless you buy them, or the Kizelia Palace to use in the recipes. Now, something that's really nice is you can see that I'm growing stuff that doesn't actually come from Kizelia Palace. Coral seeds don't come from here. They come from the Ocean Dome. I bought these and traded with a friend. So, all of my items are already... Yeah, all of them are ready to harvest because I've left them for a while. So, and traded for these too. So let's say I harvest a plant. So I want to harvest a flying daffodil. And I was successful. There we go, I got 7 out of that, so I successfully harvested some plants. Every time you harvest or plant, it will refresh the page. Just gonna close my doctor. Now, this one I might not be able to harvest. I probably would be unsuccessful. Let's see. No, I was successful, sorry. I'm trying to show you one that's unsuccessful, what it looks like. Not sure. Now, there's a reason why there's a chance of being unsuccessful, and I'll show you. If you're sick, your chance is halved. If you're under attack, your chance is halved. But you can master plants. Everybody starts at a 50% mastery of every single plant. So that means a 50% chance, half chance that you're going to go a plant when you pick it, otherwise you fail. When you're under attack, that 50 becomes 25. That 100 becomes 50. So if you've got a mastery, you've got 100, it's kind of important, you still have a half chance to get them. And there are some seeds that you only get one plant from, so it's really important to try and have as high mastery as you can with those. So I've discovered 19. The only reason why is because I've got plants from other places. I've grown the amount of 126 and got 708. No, 703, sorry. Now the reason why is because things like the daffodils, they yield more than one. So Now, remember what I was saying about you can add pots? There we go. I added 2. The durability went up because I built something and it was more successful than the one before that. So I put them both in here. See, there we go. A harvest has failed. So I was unsuccessful at harvesting something. So I just lose that seed and that plant entirely. Now, I understand that it seems like a waste at the start because you're looking at it and going, but I could have sold that. Okay, but if you're successful, you'd get like 6 seeds, or 6 plants, and you can sell all of those, which are worth more, because instead of it being 10 fur cash, it's 60 fur cash. So it's kind of worth a loss, as well as if you go to your seed book, you can see everything that you've planted, how many times you've harvested, and what your mastery of it is. So this one, if I was sick, I'd still have a 50, which is this, I'd have a 45-ish. The percentage is not perfect. But it goes up with every successful harvest you make. So every time you've planted something and you successfully harvest it, your percentage goes up. So I have 3 that are at 100% only because of that. This one is not at 100%, so I still have a chance to fail, just like that. Whereas, if I'm not sick and not under attack, I am guaranteed to be able to harvest the daffodils. So if I go down, oops. Because of the 100%, I'm guaranteed that every time, if I'm not sick or under attack, I will get the daffodils. So I'll, maybe it's not the daffodils I have 100 in. Oh no, that's a daffodil bunch seed. It's not the same, that's a weird one. There's daffodils and then daffodil bunch. So, but if I have a daffodil, regular one, I would be guaranteed to get that for sure. So lastly, what we have is our alchemist. So the alchemist, as I said, sorry, I'm not sure why it's not going. We have our alchemist over here. They are the ones who build the breeding potions and the morphing potions. So if you need those types of things, you need to have an alchemist for that. So if you want to get any of these, that's what you gotta have. So that's the basics of the career. Now the one other thing I didn't show you yet is how to change it. So if you click on change career, I'm just gonna open a new tab. It will take you to this page. It'll tell you what you currently are. If you've ever had any other careers, when you scroll down, it'll say unlearn next to one of them. You can only know 3 at a time. So if I wanted to change Hector, who's always been a herbalist, to something else, I'd click select career and I'd automatically get changed to that. But let's say I decide I want Hector to be a doctor, but he already knows how to be a warrior and a crafter and a herbalist. Well, one of them has to be unlearned. I don't have a choice, you can only know 3. If you unlearn it, everything you've got, so if you've got recipes that you've given to your tailor or pets on your animal husbandry guy, you lose all of those because they're not domesticated, so they're not in your stables. You lose anything that isn't basically complete. So any plants that they planted, if you lose them, any, I don't know if you lose any weapons they're holding or if that goes back to your inventory, but everything that you were doing, like your percentage of how good you are as a construction worker, that all disappears. You never get that back. It's completely unlost. So you want to really think about what's important. The only one that's really, like, you don't really lose much is the explorer, because the percentage doesn't really get better. You lose your stats of how many times you've done it and what you've got. That's all. So it's really important to pick and choose what you want to do. So I'm pretty happy with having a herbalist. It's very important to have these plants for my doctor. So if I want my doctor to be able to craft things. So that's the basics of each one of the careers. I might try to go more in depth with the others once I've switched into them. But it's important for construction at some point to have a house because you need it for the villagers. But I will get into that in the next one. See you soon.